I asked the community to leave some questions to answer on an AMA. I now have 50 of them in front of me, so we're going to work through as many of them as possible, maybe even all of them. I don't know, depends when I get bored. But we have the questions, so let's get answering. Are you willing to wait till 2025? Market might be in limbo with increased regulation and macro being a mess for a while. Of course. That's what we do. Of course I'll be here in 2025. You know, regulations may come in and macro may be in a bear market for that long, but this is where the opportunity lies. When you're in a bear market, that is where the opportunity is. So you don't want to be buying at the top of a bull market. You want to be buying at the bottom of a bear market. And this is where we are right now. This is where the opportunity lies. This is where the projects that should be valued way higher are severely undervalued. It's about identifying which projects are going to be around in 2025 and flourishing. And I like to stick with companies that I think will kind of survive that regulation pivot. So yeah, of course I'll be here. Will you? I don't know. Hopefully. Question 2. Hi, if I have £500 to entry the market when it's time, should I split it in 5 projects that I like, or should I go just for one project with all £500, dollars, whatever? I don't know what you're asking. Look, I can't obviously give financial advice, but I could just say what I did. I started with a similar amount, $500,000. No, I started with less than that. And I personally went all in on a single project that I'd done a shit ton of research on. So I'd done loads of research on Quant. I put everything I had in it at the time, which was around $1,000. And yeah, it worked out for me. I felt like diversifying with such a small amount of money meant that if one of those projects pumped, if it went up 100% and I'd split it between 10 different projects, I'd only make $100. And I kind of felt like if I'd really nailed down and researched, certain projects, then I would have confidence that all-in approach would pay off. So I can't speak to what you should do. I'm just saying what I did, and it worked out for me, but it doesn't mean it'll work out for everyone. So, you know, it's not going to work out for everyone, that approach. Question 3. If you had an apple with a store and you poked the apple through with it and a pebble hadn't dropped through, it stopped straw inside the apple because gravity can't apple. You can't argue with that. To be fair, you can't argue with that. Gravity can't apple. So, altcoins you are going to accumulate in the next 6 months. Do you think new narratives will come? If yes, what do you see on the horizon? So I think a big part of the next bull run, a huge part of that will be machine learning, artificial intelligence, which is why I very much tried to look for projects that would complement that and are working in that vertical in that industry. It just so happened that I stumbled across Bittensor. I didn't find it on my own. Someone pushed me in the right direction, and it was the best decision that I'd ever made looking into it and being shown it. You can see it on the shelf up here. There we go. So yeah, there's a bunch of, I think machine learning, I do think regulation friendly coins are going to be, are going to be a big thing, a part of the next narrative for crypto. I think a lot of the Wild West practices are going to ease off a little bit. But what altcoins am I accumulating? I mean, if you follow me on Twitter, then you should know which coins I'm accumulating. I mean, one of them is Aleph 0. One of them's down here. You can't really see it. See if I can put my finger up. There. Quant. Bittensor, obviously. Tau. Checked is another one that's really low market cap right now. Morpheus Network. Just the 5. There's 5 there for you. So they're the ones that I'm accumulating. Of course, do your research. If you don't think they're good, fair enough. There's just the ones I like. If you think there's the ones that are better, I don't know, buy them instead. Question 5. Where do you store the Tau once bought off exchange? So I did a video on this. I made a video called how to buy Tau and how to create a wallet. And it goes through the whole process of how to buy on the Bittensor exchange and then put it in a wallet. And that wallet is the Polkadot.js wallet. It's an extension. You have to add it to your Chrome or Brave or Firefox. But the video should go into it, and I'll put it up on the screen so you can see that. What are your thoughts on Dimitra at these levels? Dimitra's a tricky one because they need a change of approach, because the crypto side of things is just an absolute travesty. It's a disaster. But their real world adoption side of things is incredible, just incredible. You know, in terms of adoption in general in the crypto industry, Dimitra just has so much success on the real world side of things. But the crypto side is just not. There's a disconnect. There's a huge disconnect, and that's a problem. So it's either going to be the best investment ever to get in at these levels, or the dumbest. You could buy in at these levels, which is it's like $1 million market cap, which is ridiculous for what they're working on and what they're actually achieving in real world adoption. Tokenomics are trash. They need changing. I strongly believe that. I've even talked to people on the team about this. But it's either going to be an amazing investment at these levels, or it will go to zero. So, you know, that's kind of my thoughts. And I have been buying, and I will be buying more at these levels, just because you know, we're down so much that if I can afford to take the chance, then I will, you know, double up and triple up investments, whatever. Question 7. What's the price of Tau right now? Is that down like others? Right, so I did a tweet about this because everything was getting crushed, and Tau was at $30 at the start of the day, and everything got completely battered. But then Tau was holding its own at $30. So I was like bragging a little bit, you know? And then the next day it went down to like 20. So I don't know what the price is right now. I haven't looked in a couple of days. But yeah, it got affected by the market, put it that way. Question 8. Do you think A0 is the next 100x in the next bull cycle? And can you give me some reasons? This guy right here? Yeah, I do. I do not. I don't have to go 100x. I ain't got a crystal ball, but I do think it'll perform very well. I think what they've done is smart in terms of they've laid the foundations for what is needed, and they're really going after developer adoption. They've been very careful with their testnet and with their validators and the staking, and the way they've rolled things out. They've been very careful, and it may not be to the excitement of everyone where they're like, we're gonna launch it on day one and it's gonna be this big massive event. They've done it in a smart way where they're making sure that the network works and all of these things work, and there's a really good foundation. And I think Aleph 0 has everything in place to be one of the better performing projects in the next bull market. I really do. But it all comes down to, you know, the technology and the team, and they make the right decisions. You know, like we've seen with a bunch of projects this year, it's easy to fuck it all up. So you got to be on your toes. Would love to hear your speculation on what price action on Tau will do once it hits a DEX and then a SEX at some point. I'm surprised almost by how much it is holding up now. Any other thoughts you want to share about Tau will be interesting to hear as well. So yeah, I mean, I've been asked this a lot, you know, what will happen when it hits an exchange, a decentralized or a centralized exchange. And my answer is, I don't know. Like, I haven't got a clue what it's going to do. It could completely hold its own, and it could completely pump, or it could completely dump. There's just no way of knowing. Who has the answer to that question? My opinion is that at the moment, miners are selling. They're selling what they need to sell. You can do big transactions over the counter. There have been very big transactions. You can sell on the Bittensor exchange. If people want to take them buys or sells, they can. But who knows? Maybe there are people who are waiting for the exchange so they can sell through larger liquidity. Maybe there are people with big amounts of stables that are waiting for the exchange so they can buy big amounts. I don't know. There's just no way of knowing. And I guess, you know, by the end of the year, the start of next year, we'll find out. And that's the beauty of crypto. We just don't know, but we'll find out. I love Tau. That's the other bit of information. It's an amazing project. Do you mind Bittensor? What are the best IoT plays? Is your name inspired from Rasta culture? Do you like any privacy networks? Right. The first of that question, do I mine Bittensor? No, I don't. I'm validating now. I'm happy that I'm validating, but I'm not mining. I don't have the brain power for that, brother. I don't have the brain power. What are the best IoT plays? Don't know. I don't know, to be honest with you. Is your name inspired from Rasta culture? I mean, I guess so. The name comes from, I've spoke about this before, but the name comes from, I was trying to think of a name for the account, and I hadn't got a clue what to call it. So I went on a reggae name generator, and I clicked it a few times, and then it came up, Dread Bongo, and I thought, that'll do. That'll do. And it stuck from there, which is weird because, like, obviously you could tell from my skin color, like, I'm obviously not Jamaican or anything like that, but it was just I needed a name, and that's how I found it, and it stuck. The things with these names, once the accounts get bigger, you can't really change them, so it is what it is. I really hate. I really fucking hate when you have calls with people, because now I'm at the point where I'm having calls with like people on like Teams, or I'm having calls with people who are like part of like networks and people I can help, or people can help me and all stuff like that. And obviously they don't know my real name. So like they'll say, "Oh my God, it's so nice to meet you, Dread." And I'm just like, oh, it makes me cringe every time. It's so horrible. Like hearing it out loud is horrible. Like seeing it down, it's fine, Dread Bongo. But like hearing it out loud is just the fucking worst, man. Oh my God, it's Bongo. And it's just like, oh, stop it. And do you like any privacy networks? So I think with what regulations coming along, I think that privacy networks are going to be highly scrutinized. And I feel like I don't think they're going to do well, to be honest with you. I did invest in a project a while back called PowerKey, and they were making a full privacy ecosystem. And I felt like it was an area that I wasn't exposed to at all, and I wanted to be exposed to something that could do well in the future. Because if I was right or wrong, it didn't matter as long as I was exposed to it. But no, it didn't get off the ground. It failed very early on. And I don't hold privacy networks. I don't think they're going to do that well, to be honest with you. Morpheus Network, Alliance Block, Bittensor, Checked, and Syntropy. Suppose you have to put all your money into only 2 projects from these and you had no other choice. Which 2 would you choose? So why would I have no choice? Is someone got like a gun to my head and they're saying, you invest in 2 of these, motherfucker? And I'm like, can I do all 5? Like, you fucking invest in 2. So I mean, if I had to choose 2, I would choose Bittensor, Tau, and Checked. They're the 2 I would choose. Bittensor and Checked. And you didn't ask me to elaborate, so I'm not going to. Tau WoW sizing list. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen a list like this, but the schedule, the supply, the halvings, everything is identical to Bitcoin. So like, what would be a WoW for a Bitcoin WoW? Not to say that Bittensor is going to absolutely reach every valuation that Bitcoin has, but like, what would be a Bitcoin WoW? Apply it to Bittensor. That's what I would do. Sir, can A0 survive this bear market till 2024, 2025? Please do reply. I'm replying, Amit. Calm down. Relax, brother. Relax. Yeah, of course. I remember Anthony saying we've been building when Bitcoin was 3K at the bottom of the last bear market. So why would we stop now? They're in a much stronger position now. They've got a much bigger team. They've built some fantastic technologies and products. Of course, why would they not be around? I think like the only projects that won't be around are the ones that are built on shit. They're hype. They need to survive on hype alone. They're the ones that would die because they have nothing. They have no actual utility or products. And the ones that are just absolutely being reckless with client funds or anything like that. So there's no reason to see why Aleph will not be around. If they started just being fucking reckless, then no, they won't be around. But I think they'll be all right. I think they'll be fine. Question 14. What is your favorite kind of pillow for a Wednesday nap? I have a special pillow. I have this pillow that it's like, because I was noticing I was getting like neck pain. I get like a lot of neck pain. And I was noticing that the middle of my head when I'm sleeping on the pillow and I'm like this, I felt pain on the back of my head. So I've got this pillow that it kind of dents in the middle. So it's like there's like a ramp for my neck and then it dents in the middle. So it's like a little cup holding my back of my head like a little baby. And it's really nice. It's like a really comfortable pillow. But the first week you sleep on it, it's not comfortable at all. Like you feel like, what the fuck am I doing? This is like the worst decision I've ever made. But after that week, like you're going through that pain period, it's worth it, man. Like I love it. Like I can't sleep on any other pillow. When I go on holiday or go away, I'm just devastated that I can't sleep on that pillow. Question 15. Can you suck your own D? Can I suck my own dick? Yeah, of course. Of course. I mean, I have to. I can't get to sleep unless I do it. So like most nights I'm in bed and I'm wriggling around and I'm just like, oh fuck's sake, I can't get comfortable. Oh, I feel off and stuff like that. And my wife's sleeping next to me and she's getting annoyed and she's just just stop it. And I'm just like, oh gosh, I'll just shut up and suck your own D. And I'm like, oh, all right, thanks. And then I'll start doing it because I can't sleep if I don't do it. So yeah, I assume everyone tries it, right? What do you think of XRP? I don't have strong opinions on XRP, to be honest with you. I don't understand the absolute religious community behind it, and the people who are all XRP or nothing. But then I kind of do understand it to an extent because I think the Quant community kind of had that as well, you know. So I think a lot of crypto see Quant holders like Ripple holders or XRP holders. And I think some of the rhetoric around, you know, XRP is going to swallow the world is kind of crazy. But then I guess some people see that with Quant as well. I don't know. I haven't looked into it as much as I really should have. I think XRP has a future. I just don't know in what sense and what scale. But yeah, XRP is fine. What are your current thoughts on ZCX? Current thoughts on ZCX. I like Martin. That is my current thoughts. I'm a big fan of Martin. I think Martin's a smart guy. Had great conversations with him. I think he's a lovely fella. I'm not a fan of the CEO. I think he's made some very reckless decisions and he's harmed that project immensely. And I think if Martin wasn't there, then that project would be in real trouble. That's my thoughts. Thank God he's there still. And hopefully he can drag that project along and make a success of it. Because I hope they succeed. But yeah, there's been a lot of damage done. That's my thoughts. 19. Any earlier gems to share? I mean, man, fuck no. That's all. I've been sharing loads. Like, Bittensor's early. Checked is early. Morpheus Network is still early, even though it's been around for years. You know, Aleph Zero's early. You know, if these projects if they all achieve their visions and their potential, then yeah, this all of this stuff is early, and we're at very cheap valuations because everything's down like 80% or 90%. I'm not one of these guys that, you know, I'm going to share this new, you know, our team's been doxed and it's a micro cap and it's, you know, 10,000x potential. It's just, and it's something come in you and it's just like, that's not me, man. That's not me. Like I stick with a small group of projects and that's pretty much it. Question 20. How much Quant you have? From a legit crypto nerd. Inshallah, brother. Inshallah. So, how much Quant do I have? I have between 1 and 10,000. So, have a guess. Somewhere in between there. That's what I have.
started with I had $1,000. It was below $1. I think like I had like, when I first started back in 2018, I had like, I think it was like 1,400 or 1,350, something like that. And I held that for a long, long time. But I have a bag a long-term position that I add to constantly. You know, I dollar cost average into it. If I make good trades, I buy certain projects. Quant is one of them, and I have that long-term bag, and I don't touch it. I just keep adding to it, and I don't touch it. And I'm going to keep doing that on Quant until I want to stop, basically. So I add a lot to Quant throughout the past 4 years. So I have more than that now, but yeah, I'm not going to say the exact amount. Going to be a little bit subtle, a little bit discreet. As a utility investor, what is your view on meme coins like Zuka? Can a community be the greatest utility of all with AAA tokenomics? I mean, look, it's been proven that communities can push a coin to stupid heights. Doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that it's going to be a long-term success. But yeah, of course, shit pumps, man. Shit pumps. Question 22. How fucked are we? That's a good question. I mean, at the moment, if you're all in on crypto, then you probably feel in pain. If you're in stables, you're not. And these are huge opportunities. But how fucked are we as an industry? I think crypto is going to be fine. I think it has to navigate this regulatory pivot that's going to come, this change. And I don't think events like the last week or the lunar event helps. I think it causes a lot of pain, and I think regulations are going to get a bit more strict and harsh, and the response is going to be harsh as well. So we're gonna have to wait and see. I don't think we're fucked. I think crypto's not going anywhere, but there'll be changes. There'll be changes, and I don't think regulation is necessarily a bad thing, but it's just how is it implemented. 23, right? Let's get a speed run going. Come on, question 23. You only got one choice for a 5-year hold. Tau or Quant? This will, oh, for fuck's sake. Let's get quick and I'll get asked this bullshit. Tau or Quant? This is a tough one, Scotty. Or Mr. Decent. I would, at this point in my journey, I would go with Tau, to be honest with you. And I know the pitchforks have just, all the Quant holders just went, fucking cunt. Sorry, that's a British way of swearing it is. Yeah, I would say I would go with Tau, just because I've been on that Quant train for a long time, and it's done very, very well for me. And I think interoperability is going to be hugely needed in the future, but it's only going to be needed for those who really are looking to implement blockchain and NFTs and all stuff like that. So I think blockchain will be a huge part of the future, clearly, and Overledger will be needed in a massive way. But I think with machine learning and AI, you're already seeing that is becoming, and that already is at this central core of most companies going forward. And the biggest $1 trillion companies, they're there because of machine learning and AI and data. And I think the projects that really succeed in harnessing the users and the adoption of AI and machine learning is going to control the world. Like, they will have the huge valuations in the future. And I think, Quant's at $1 billion market cap, Tau's at under 100 million. There's just, if I had to make a distinction between the two, I would go with Tau at this point. I think this growth potential is marvelous. I think it's incredibly undervalued, and as the network grows, its price is directly tied to the growth of the network. I think it's going to have a huge future. Not to say Quant won't. I think Quant will also grow impressively in the future. I just think at this point in their journeys, I think Tau has more growth potential. So that wasn't too bad. I answered that pretty well, I think. What should the goal be for humanity? Happiness and fulfillment. Quick. Question 25. How much do you have in Tau? Tau is one of my largest positions at this point. I think it's an incredible project, and I think everyone owes it to themselves to at least look into it. If you don't like it, it's fine. It's not for you. But I think everyone owes it to themselves, to at least look into it and make that decision for yourself. Question 26. What are your DCA levels for Tau? Same thing as Quant. I just DCA into it over time, and I keep doing it. I don't really care about prices. It's more about time. So I do it over certain, I do it weekly or fortnightly, whatever it is. But I DCA on time periods, not on levels. What about Ori? Still a project to invest? I haven't looked into Ori in a long time. I don't know what they're doing recently. I remember looking into it a while ago and liking what they're doing. But I can't speak to where they're at now. So yeah, I can't really answer that, to be honest with you. But I remember before thinking, this is a cool project. Hopefully they've made leaps and bounds. I just don't know. Rami James says, do you like all percussions or just bongos? Just bongos. Just bongos. I actively hate all other instruments and percussions. Like I get visibly, I shake with anger if I hear any other instruments being played. It's just solely bongos, and we only have bongos in the house. My daughter, we do 5 hours a day training, learning the bongos, and her hands have all calluses and they're all ripped up and bruised, but it's worth it. I think it's worth it. It'll pay off in the future. Question 29, favorite vacation spot? In the UK, I really like Dorset. We go down to Dorset quite a lot on the coast. I love it down there. Just like I've lived down there. I lived down there, for a while, and I want to get back down there at some point. I love the place. It really feels like my home away from home. Abroad, I really love South Africa. Kruger National Park is just like one of my favorite places to go see wildlife. A big wildlife guy. Love it. I love seeing weird and wonderful things. So, yeah, South Africa, Kruger National Park. Going back there in February next year. Yeah, those two. What's the biggest lesson you learned in crypto? Biggest lesson I've learned in crypto is you have to think for yourself. If you follow the herd, you'll always be on the wrong end of it. And I think you have to think for yourself, make your own decisions, and come up with your own strategies. And the biggest lesson I've learned is that there's no shortcuts. Like, unless you put the work in, you're not going to see the results. That's kind of how I see it. If you're willing to obsess over this and make it a success, you will. But you have to put in the work. And I think you have to depend on yourself, not on others. That's the lesson I think I learned. And for a long time, I relied on others and I didn't put the work in, and I paid the price. And I think a lot of people do as well. And I think you need to switch your mentality when it comes to that and trust yourself a bit more. But you only gain that trust in yourself if you put the work in. So that's that. Where do you see VXV, Quant, Alliance Block in 10 years hypothetically? Well, hypothetically, I think Quant and Alliance Block have got very good futures. I don't know about VXV, to be honest. That's just, who the fuck knows? Question 32. What looked like your portfolio in percentage? At the moment, I'm quite heavily in stables. Have been for a while. A big position in Tau. I have long-term bags that I don't touch, like I said earlier. But yeah, I'm getting very interested, and I'm getting a bit of itchy bum now to start investing in these low prices. So I want 11 to 14k. I want that zone, but I'm not gonna be strict with that. So if I start getting the itch to start chucking my stable positions into projects, I will. Question 33. Stinky or pinky? Stinky or pinky? I'm not a stinky kind of guy. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, I'm not a stinky kind of guy. Unless I'm having gay sex, then all the way, 100%. I'll enjoy the hell out of it. Why are you shilling Tau this hard? Let us accumulate in peace. Well, I'm sorry, Lawmaster.
I don't see it shilling. Like, I guess that's the thing. Like, I'm just putting my thoughts out on my Twitter, and yeah, I guess people see it as shilling. I'm just talking about what I like. You know, if I was really into, I don't know, fucking Pokemon, I'd be tweeting about Pokemon all day. What's my favorite Pokemon? I think this Pokemon's brilliant. But just so happens that I like crypto, and I'll talk about that instead. So I'm sorry, but I like it, so I'm going to talk about it. Question 35. Were you at the cinema last few days? No. But I am going to the cinema next week, though, to see Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So hopefully this was just a precursor to that, and the real pain isn't to come when I'm, next week. Why are we suddenly trusting China to bail out crypto? I don't understand that question. Why are we suddenly trusting China? Are we? Are you saying CZ? Are you saying because the CZ was going to buy FTX? I mean, I don't think CZ represents the whole of China. I think he's even had problems with China, hasn't he? I think that's kind of a generalized statement. That's a very this country versus this country, a nationalistic point of view. No, I don't see it that way at all. I just think CZ just happens to be the owner of Binance, and he happens to be Chinese, and that's it, basically. I don't think China is pulling the strings here. How did you start in crypto? What would you do differently? How did I start? Well, I've told the story a bunch of times. I was doing something else. Had about £500. Then eventually had about $1,000. Went all in on Quant in 2018 after making lots of mistakes, and did all right out of it. Diversified. I've got a video that I did about how I invest, how I grew my portfolio, and I'll put that up on the screen. Maybe you can go and watch that. What would I do differently? Like I mentioned earlier, think for yourself, put the work in, no shortcuts, and embrace learning. Embrace learning, guys. You have to embrace wanting to learn something and challenge yourself. And if you start feeling comfortable, then you're not doing enough. You need to push yourself outside your comfort zone to get better, because that's the only way you do get better. Question 38. Have you taken a look at Morpheus Network? I have. I like Morpheus Network a lot. Yeah. Morpheus Network is a very cool project. Looked at it a few years ago. Then it went off my radar for a long time. But yeah, I like Morpheus Network a lot. Who's an absolute must follow on Twitter? From Comfy. It depends what. Like, I think if you're talking about trading, then Trader XO is an absolute gangster when it comes to not only trading but explaining why he does certain things and takes certain positions and the process. And he does live streams on YouTube, and I highly recommend it if you're looking to learn. He is very methodical about his approach, and he explains it very well. I'm a big fan of Crypto Nova on Twitter. I think she does a fantastic job of making these long form threads and explaining projects and unpacking them. So yeah, that Trader XO, Crypto Nova, that gives you a good leg up out the gate. Question 40. What's your investment strategy? Again, I will link the video and put it up for you to see. I made a video on it. It's changed a little bit now, but that was how I got started. What makes you so confident about Tau? What distinguishes it from the excitement certainty for HTR? Lastly, why do you think Quant has head off gateways? I mean, what distinguishes it from HTR? That's like comparing an apple to a rhino. You know, they're just different. They're just completely different. What makes you so confident about Tau? Like I've said, I've explained it in the video pretty much. I think machine learning and AI has a huge future, and I think their approach to a decentralized connected network where AI can connect and produce and train is very valuable, and they fix a lot of the problems that is out there at the moment in terms of AI and machine learning being siloed and having to start from scratch. And with the token central to a lot of that, it has a huge future, in my opinion. What distinguishes it from the excitement certainty of HTR?
I think HTR they made some really bad decisions. I think I've said before they really messed up by not getting nano contracts out the door, and pivoting away and concentrating on other things. They should have really gone gung ho on getting nano contracts out the door, and I had the belief that they would, but they didn't. And I think that's again what we mentioned earlier. Sometimes teams don't fulfill their potential, and it's on the teams to do it. They have to keep building, and they have to now these points that they want to now in their roadmaps. If they don't, they fade away into obscurity. Why do you think Quant has held off gateways? I just think Quant is like, I think their strategy and their approach has changed and pivoted so many times over the years that they don't. I don't think community gateways is as important right now, and I don't think they have the manpower to really concentrate on it. I think they're growing rapidly, and Gilbert's mentioned a bunch of times they just don't have. They're looking to scale up. They're always looking for people to work at Quant, and I just don't think they have the resources to cover that right now. And they're having to make decisions. We need to concentrate on this. We need to concentrate on this. Client demand. That would be my opinion. I don't know if I'm right. If there is one token I should buy for next bull market, what should it be? NFA, of course. I mean, I can't. You know I can't answer that. You know I can't answer it. So why are you asking me? You're a fucking dickhead for you Anonymo 00684321. You're a fucking dickhead for even doing that. Because you've put me in a fucking horrible situation here where I'm on a stream and I can't even fucking. You know I can't answer it. The fuck is wrong with you, man? I'm raging. I'm fucking... No, I'm joking. I can't answer that. I'm sorry. I can't answer that. Question 43. Do you think Solana will survive? Don't know. Don't particularly care. Never invested in it. Never traded it. Don't know. Hopefully, because people are invested in it. But I don't know. Wrong guy to ask. I'm sorry. Question 44. In earlier Oct, you had a tweet that is expressing renewed interest in ZCX. They've been hammered in this current chaos. Curious if you see this as an attractive entry point or just a sign that in danger of falling apart. So yeah, I did have renewed interest when they started to change their approach. I think I really lost all, attachment and just belief when the CSO stuff happened with Michael Healy. When they hired him, he seemed like he was making the right decisions, but he just turned out to be a fucking wild man. And I just think that the due diligence to hire him was not there and speaks to a lot of the company at the moment. To allow him to come in and make a lot of the decisions and claims he was making, like we're going to be a layer one. We're building a layer one solution. He's bought ZTX.com and he's saying all this crazy shit. And the rest of the team had no fucking clue what he was on about. He made it all up. He was just saying it himself. And then to have him have another project called Unit Network and to have him saying all of this shit that we're going to build in Unison was basically his other project. And he was pushing people to his other project. And it's just like, where's the due diligence? How do you hire someone like that? And let him get away with it for that long publicly. It's just, it was the final straw for me. I was just like, what the fuck is happening to this project? It was like what I invested in and what I believed in the project had mostly eroded at that point. And I just didn't like it, what had happened that whole period. And it's like I've said before, I love Martin. I believe in Martin to make a success out of this. But he's swimming against the tide in terms of bad management. And I think I don't believe, this is just my opinion, I don't believe Martin will be there long term. I don't think he will stick around. Not to say it'll be anytime soon. I just think for the long term, I don't think he will be there. And if he's not there, I see zero reason to be invested in that project. So that's where I'm at with Unison, basically. It's a fucking shame. Like a real fucking shame. They had so much going for them, but it was a shame. And in hindsight, I think they launched too early without building the product first. I think that was a mistake. Question 45, what price you eyeing Tau at? Like I said, I'm just constantly buying, DCAing, bought some big positions a while back. Now I'm just DCAing and now I'm validating. So I'm getting, you know, rewards in real time from that as well. So yeah. Question 46, what do you think about ICP? Again, like Solana, I don't really have an opinion on ICP. I've not looked into it at all. It's Definity, right? It might even be Definity. Shows how much I know. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, so I can't answer that. 47, you validating mining Tau, Chief? Any plans to make vids about this? So yeah, I am validating, like I just said. Not smart enough to mine, but I only just fucking figured out how to validate, and it was a headache for me because I'm not smart. I'm not smart. So it was difficult for me to figure that out. It took me a couple of days. I had a lot of help as well. Any plans to make a vid about this? I could. I'd get PTSD from having to go back through it all again. So but I could make a video about it. Probably won't do it anytime soon, but I may at some point. If you were new to crypto and had little crypto of value, how would you safely store it? And if you have any advice on which device or hot wallet, etc. So I think a good practice is self-custody, and I think ledgers and Trezors are the way to go. Buy a ledger and figure out how to use that. It's not that difficult, but if you can keep it largely offline, that's always the best option. Always. Tell me your 3 main reasons to stay in crypto. 3 main reasons? I mean, for me personally, I enjoy it. It's exciting. I believe in its future. And I believe it can financially, you know, secure my family. There you go. 51, how long have you been in crypto? So Fuda Zeki, this is the last question. So you got the last question. How long have you been in crypto? I've been in crypto since 2017. Felt like I struggled a lot in the early days, like I think everyone does. But I've been in for a good 5 years now. And, you know, hopefully the space goes on to flourish in the future and I'll be here for another 5-10 years. I'm not bored yet. I'm bored of the social media bit a little bit, but not in crypto and looking into projects and investing and hopefully succeeding, you know. But that's it. So thank you everyone for asking your questions. It's been a blast answering them. We got 50 questions, 51 questions actually, and we've just got through them all in under 45 minutes. I think that's pretty damn good. So we'll do this again. I hope you have a fantastic evening, and I will see you all in the next one. I love you all. Have a good day. Bye-bye.